How's it going, everybody? I just want to start this video by saying Dead Rising is one of my most favorite and treasured zombie game franchises to ever hit the market on any console, any platform at all. It is just definitely hands down my favorite zombie franchise. I love Dead Rising 1. It was just amazing. I saw the trailer when I was a little kid. I thought it was super cool because I was super into zombies at the time. I was watching like Dawn of the Dead, Land of the Dead, and to see a game take place in a mall like in the first Dawn of the Dead, or I guess they even in the remake, it was super amazing. I thought it was just fucking mind-blowing that they could even make a game, and at the time it was a pretty big world. One of my favorite things in that game was the psychopaths. You had the clown boss, Cliff, the machete guy, you had the thugs who were outside, which would terrify you as you tried to go between the different areas of the mall, and it was just such an intense experience doing that, but at the same time it was really goofy and comical, and you didn't have to take it super seriously. And then they had the time restriction, which made it so you had to do certain things in a certain amount of time or you didn't get the true ending, and you could choose not to do that. You could get the like ending F or ending A, B. There's like a bunch of different endings, which I thought was super cool. And then of course after Dead Rising 1 came Dead Rising 2, which I thought was okay. It's probably not my favorite in the series. I haven't made a complete playthrough. I probably will on stream eventually, but I mean, it's all right. I liked it. The scene, the setting or whatever is pretty good. You're in Vegas. You start on in an arena on a bike killing zombies, and then you have the combo weapons, which is when this was introduced, and I thought that was a very nice touch. But the story was kind of annoying, and if you wanted the true ending as a completionist like me, you had to get this Zombrex for your daughter, and in the beginning I did not like that system because it was very hard to find the Zombrex, and it just was annoying. It took away from the game for me. Then a few years later, Dead Rising 3 came out, and I thought it was amazing. Of course, Frank West is still out of the picture, and you play as the mechanic guy. I forgot his name. It's not important, but what was important was the game was the largest scale of a world of any of the Dead Rising games. And then you also had the vehicles, the combo vehicles, which were oh man, I love those. I've had some very good times in the combo vehicles in there, especially in co-op, which this title of the Dead Rising franchise had the best co-op in my opinion, just because you could play with your friends, but you could also do separate things and go across the map, unlike in Dead Rising 2 where you kind of had to stay within the same area. Now, Dead Rising 1, 2, and 3 all did a very good job of doing the psychopaths, which is my favorite part of the game. They had the cutscenes, they had like some personality to the bosses. It was really immersive for each fight. You got really into it. My biggest issue with Dead Rising 4 is they completely removed psychopaths. They replaced them with things called maniacs. No more cutscenes for the psychopaths or maniacs, whatever you want to call them. And it just doesn't feel as special to kill them, especially when you kill them for their weapon, which was kind of the whole point of them before. You just kind of get a combo weapon you can craft anyway. Like you kill, what was it, Santa Claus in Dead Rising 4. He's called something else. I have a clip of it here. It's just, he's goofy, yeah, but it's just not the same experience. Like I need those cutscenes. It really ramped up the fight. It was really fun. That's like why I played Dead Rising. It was like my biggest memories of playing Dead Rising, and they completely removed it from the game. Like, why could you do? I waited the whole game to get a cutscene for one of these maniacs or side bosses, and it just never happened. And then also with Dead Rising 4, you kind of feel like you're forced into the story. Like with the other Dead Rising titles, you didn't have to do the main story. You got whatever ending. You had time restrictions, so you had different options of what kind of ending you got, and then you also had like side missions to do, which are also absent in Dead Rising 4, and the side missions were equally as fun to do as the main story or the psychopath missions, because they had goofy sort of side stories. Like in Dead Rising 3, there's a guy who's filming gay porn with zombies, and you have to lure male zombies into the studio, and it's just a really funny shtick to it. I don't know, like, why would you remove that? It's like, what gave the identity of Dead Rising to Dead Rising? Dead Rising 4's whole selling point was they brought back Frank, you go back to Willamette, and I thought, yes, we're going back to the mall. You can go outside into the city, and there's going to be some great psychopaths. It even looked really good in the trailer. I did a reaction on my channel to that game, and based off the trailer, it looked amazing. They were adding new weapons, new vehicles, new story. Frank's back, Willamette's back. All these great things, and then it was released and I was pretty excited. It was amazing. It starts off with some nostalgia, has Carlito's voice, some of the voice lines from the first Dead Rising are played, and it was amazing. And it even has some comical stuff right in the beginning, and it was really great. But shortly after playing a little bit, I realized this Frank West wasn't the real Frank West. I mean, they're playing him off as Frank West, but the attitude and personality of the new Frank West in Dead Rising 4 is very, very different from the first Frank West. The first Frank West was sort of like a very timid and stressed individual who was just trying to get his scoop. In Dead Rising 4, he's just kind of this wisecracking guy, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think Dead Rising 4's Frank West is is funny, but I'd rather have the funny moments through scoop chances and psychopaths, etc., than just a wisecracking guy. Like, the trade-off there wasn't good. Another thing they sold as a cool update to Dead Rising 4 was the exo suits. Now, the exo suits were these little upgrades you could get for a little sort of 2 minutes about, and you could lift up certain items in the world that you couldn't otherwise lift up. You could use special weapons that were meant for heavy assault, sort of like flamethrowers or miniguns, even these crazy battle axes, or you could just rip a parking meter out of the ground with cement still stuck to it and just slap zombies across. And I mean, that's a good touch, but the biggest problem with that was you only got it for 2 minutes. If they had just left it so you had the 120 health instead of the 120 stamina that goes down every second, it would have been fine. But they didn't, and it kind of made the exosuit sort of meh. Now, I really wanted to like Dead Rising 4. I really did. And I mean, I still do. It's Dead Rising. It's got a little bit of goofiness to it, but I don't know. It's just really hard, especially when you're sort of forced into the campaign. Like I said before, you can't just go do side missions or whatever. And this one, there isn't really a time restriction, but your pretty much only option is to go do the main mission. And sometimes I just don't want to do that in Dead Rising. And then along with that is you're actually doing investigative journalism, and they make you search for all the sort of evidence things. And I get it, they're trying to make it so, like, I mean, role play as Frank West and you're doing journalism, and I think that's like, I get what they were going for, but it just doesn't fit into the game as I remember it. I remember just taking weird pictures, getting high PP score. Now you're using the camera to just kind of do the story, and it just wasn't the same. I don't know. So Dead Rising 4 was just kind of a disappointment to me. And along with all that, some other quality of life changes they made that really irked me was the inventory is all separated now, and you have to individually upgrade each inventory just so you can have more space for stuff. And I really preferred the old inventory thing where you just kind of unlock slots. You kept going and you could have like 20 items of your choice. You didn't have to have a set amount of like, oh, 5 melee, 5 range, 5 thrown. You just pick whatever the hell you wanted. And I don't know. I don't know, man. It just hurts to see one of my favorite game franchises sort of just slap me in the face and take away my favorite parts of the game, and then put in a story-driven, pretty much single-player campaign-based RPG about zombies. And they even put you back from the first setting in Willamette, and then the mall doesn't even look anything like it. I mean, the story is they remodeled it, but it doesn't look anything like it. Nothing resembles the old game. The only thing that really resembles it is the name of the place and the name of the main character. Everything else is completely different. I don't know. It just sucks. Anyway, thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video talking about Dead Rising and the franchise and what it kind of meant to me and my disappointment with Dead Rising 4. Leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about Dead Rising 4 if you played the game, if you think it was a good idea, good change. If you like the changes of Dead Rising 4 and you like it better than the other titles, I'd love to hear why. Anyway, thank you again everyone so much for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.